I would have just told myself, yes, it's not great.
Yeah.
But you sleep, you wake up, you thank God that you're awake. And one day is gone. And even till now, another thing I've learned from you, I think you always say that if you learn one thing from today, tomorrow will be better. And that's something that stuck with me. I probably didn't see it as learning back then, but as an adult, you kind of realize that certain habits you taught yourself just to get through the time, or just one day at a time, 1 hour. Even if you can't break a day, break it into hours. 1 hour, you got through 1 hour. Do you know what I mean? And you sleep, you wake up, and that's literally what. If I look at my younger self, I'll tell them, you can't see the future because you don't know what the decisions are going to be. But all you can do is just take it one day at a time and do the best you can do at the point you are.
Yo. Welcome back to the Eman and Mimi podcast with me, Eman Asuquo, and beautiful. I just want you to know.
I need to start doing these introductions. Let me start putting it on you now.
Come on. All right, go on. Mimi, can you tell the people your name?
Mariam Asuquo.
Thank you. Yo, people, I hope you're good, man. How you feeling? How you doing? I've been seeing in the comments replying to Mimi, so you can reply to me now.
I thought you were literally on my nuts for doing that.
No. These people was actually replying, actually saying, no, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. How are you? I was like, oh, wow. It gets like that. So I'm saying, listen, I want him too.
Is it?
I don't want him to say I'm rude, I don't greet. You know Africa, man. You don't greet. You don't know how to greet.
You don't know how to greet.
So let me greet. Hello, everybody. How you day? But how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I know you're good. You look good.
Thank you.
Hoop earrings, yeah? You're doing the thing.
Hey.
She brought back the 80s.
Look here, it's a look, it's a vibe, it's a vibe.
Come on, you know what? This girl want to look young. It's good, look young. Let me have a young wife. I'm enjoying life. So yeah, what you been up to?
Work.
How's that going?
It's going.
Yeah, come on. That's life, man. That's life. It's life.
Work, kids, you.
Yeah. You know what? This one's going to be a brief one.
Thing.
You know, like sometimes they say, you know, like every episode got to be 50 minutes, 1 hour. Sometimes you just got to come in, give them the boom, 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 boom. Do you know what I mean? And keep it moving. This is a light one. This is not too deep, but we wanted to kind of share like 5 things to tell our younger self. Because you know what? We've got a lot of our audience are younger than us or around our age or whatever. Or I have young people in their lives, whether it be, you know, kids or nieces, nephews or whatever it may be. And, you know, I think it's important that if we can share our experiences, the things that we've learned through life, and we can give that back to younger people, then they don't have to, they can make better decisions and move better and achieve quicker. And that's what it's about. That's when I talk about legacy. It's about, it might take me 40 years to become a millionaire. This is what we're on track for, yeah? But for me, I want to make sure that if I can share, it might only take the next person 25.
Yeah.
It might only take the next person 30. Because they've learned it and they've missed out on the mistakes that I've made.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about for me. It's about how do we make this thing grow better? And knowledge and sharing is the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
So I want to share some things, obviously, little laughter, little banter, little talks about all the different things. But let's go into it. So point one, 5 things I tell my younger self. The first one is enjoy being young. Don't grow up too quickly. Mimi, I'm not going to lie. You've been having one auntie mentality from young. Like, so talk to me. How I feel like you grew up early.
I grew up early.
What happened?
Life happened.
She said life.
You know, I don't know if I could go into too much detail about my experiences. So basically, obviously everyone knows I grew up in Nigeria till about 10. Got not shipped, but we moved from Nigeria to the UK around 10, and I got thrust into this UK society, and I had to grow up because Nigeria way of living and British way of living, forget even just the weather, just assaulting you the first time. You have to adapt to a new school, a new way of living. But
also finances. When you were in Nigeria, you had...
Again, yes. When we were in Nigeria, my dad had a really good job. My mum had a good job. She worked for the ministry. So, you know, if you're a civil servant in Nigeria, you get the dough. And when we came here, like, that changed. Like, it did a complete 180. So we were back on
Yeah, so you've gone from going to private school, having a driver, cleaner,
everything.
big house, that type of lifestyle in Nigeria, in Africa, living that life. Do you know what I mean? And obviously having a name, because obviously you got roots and family members, and the family's well known. So you've gone from all the roots, everything that you've known, generations of people, whatever.
Yeah.
And you've left that to come to the UK.
Okay.
And then come to the UK.
To basically start from scratch.
And we hear this story all the time. Do you know what I mean? About, like people who are doctors and lawyers in their countries. But they come to the UK with a dream of, I'm gonna live this better life. And then they come here and they're cleaners and they're security and they're doing all the jobs until they can, even though they've got the degrees but these degrees are not
they don't translate.
They don't translate, or they're not accepted.
Yeah.
Even though you can do it in your country, but we don't accept it in ours. But what the funny thing is that when you go from here and you go to there, we accept theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And all of that needs to change. But it's one of those things where, so you've gone from one lifestyle to the other, and that's forced you to
have to grow up and sort of mature, because it was one of those situations where you can't go back to Nige. You have to live here, but you have to grow up as well.
Yeah.
You have to develop a backbone, because you're in a world where you have to, in a sense, stand up for yourself and make your own space, basically.
Yeah.
And not let people take advantage of you, because trust me, when you come and they call you fresh off the boat, people are mean, kids are mean. And you've had to say, I'm not taking this. If we're going to fight, we're going to fight. I don't care. But you're not going to take advantage of me. And I had to grow up really quickly and sort of just be a support to my parents, because obviously they were out working, so it was us, my siblings were at home, and we had to sort of look after the house, make sure that there was, and you had to make sure that there was no trouble, no drama. You don't want no one knocking on your door to say, hey, where are your parents? You're just left here by yourself type thing. So it's so many different things, and your young brain has to be like, yo, you have to think differently, because you can't, the freedom is sort of gone. And so if I speak to my younger self, I would say, yes, you're going through all of that, but still find time to have fun, relax, because you won't be that age. I think that's what I would tell myself, just to find fun and relax in the times when you had the opportunity to.
Yeah, but what about, because I would say, like, one of the reasons I love you so much is because of your mindset and the way that you think and the way that you carry yourself, and the way that you're different in the way you behave to, especially for me, for a lot of, when I was looking for a wife, you were different to a lot of the women that the potential suitors that I had at the time. And I think a lot of that comes from your childhood and your upbringing and so forth. So how does that work? Because maybe if you didn't go through what you went through, maybe you don't have the mindset that you have now, that, and not just for me to be attracted to you, but for you to be the successful woman that you are. Like I always tell people, everything you can see anything and make it happen. Like your cake business started from you watching YouTube videos. Yeah. You started cutting my hair from you watching YouTube videos. Like you are a person that you have a gift where you can see stuff and then you can create it with your hands. Do you know what I mean? You can make it happen, and it's so powerful. But yet you're also so amazing in regards to how you carry yourself, in regards to, like I always tell people, I had a friend that was at your uni that you didn't know was my friend. And, when I spoke to her about you, if she would have said, oh, yeah, you were out here doing enjoyment and just opening leg for everyone. And you could have done that thinking, I'm at uni, I've been stuck at home, going from different countries and all this. I'm at uni. Let me just go at uni and enjoy. But if that would have been the feedback that I would have got, I probably wouldn't be with you. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying marrying me is like your life goal or whatever. I'm just saying in regards to some of the big qualities that I see in you that has come through your life experience. So do you feel like you could have had fun? When you look about what you've been through, do you feel like you had opportunities where you could have tried to enjoy yourself, or you could have tried to make friends and do stuff? Do you feel like that wasn't available to you, or do you feel like you did the best that you could?
I mean, I feel like looking back, I did the best I could, because I always had to remember where I was, who I was, and the situation I was. I was in the situation I was in, sorry. I had to carry myself with a certain level of dignity and respect, because if I failed in the situation, the repercussions were bigger than just me letting loose and cutting shapes, basically. I realized we didn't have a lot growing, we didn't have a lot. And now that's one thing that taught me, that said I would always make sure that I could, when I finally came out of that situation, I would always be able to look after myself. I would always be able to fend for myself financially. And if I'm being completely open and honest, marrying Emmanuel made me break down so many walls. I had Tower of Babel type walls in front of me just to protect myself from being hurt and getting hurt. And meeting him and the way he is and the way he looks at things in life made me have to say, okay, Mims, it's time. You can relax now. You're like, you can enjoy life a bit more, if that makes sense. It's not just about being serious and just focus on getting your goals and achieving what you need to achieve. And yes, Emmanuel's right, I've had to learn a lot of things, but when we grew up, we didn't have a lot of things. So we had to learn how to do our own hair. We had to learn how to relax, cut, whatever you needed to do. If you couldn't afford it, you had to learn how to do it. And I guess that's what...
You used to make clothes.
We used to make our own, like if we needed to wear African clothes, we would make our own clothes because we couldn't take them to a tailor. But we had sewing machines and stuff. So we've always been resourceful.
But that's a quality now.
Because of the situation we were in. At the time, we probably didn't feel it was a quality.
Come on.
But if I did look at my younger self, I'll say for certain situations, yes, always keep your guard up because of what you were in, but have a bit more fun.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think for me, I would definitely echo that. Like, I feel like I didn't really get to have fun. I have my mum, and she's very protective, and so she kept us in a lot. So I didn't play out. We used to play on the balcony. Like, we weren't allowed out. We weren't allowed to do so much stuff, which led to, I always say now, I'm still trying to, this whole holiday thing, I'm still trying to get my mindset into traveling and wanting to see the world. Even though I know the world is such a beautiful place, and I've been to some amazing countries and so forth, but it's not first nature to me. Like, I'm a homebody because that's what I've been in. Like, you're in your house, you stay in your house, you enjoy your house. Your house is you make it comfortable the way you like, and you just enjoy being in your house. And actually, there's a whole world out there. I need to get out more. And these are things that even me, like, I guess now having money allows me to do that more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's so important that when you're young, just be young. Like, be young and have fun. Like, enjoy being young, because sometimes I feel like we want to grow. So I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a business owner. And that's cool, but don't let your young years spoil, because trust me, once you get to a point where you're now in work, it doesn't stop. Like,
it doesn't stop.
Like, I was speaking to my pops the other day, like, and he's at retirement age now, like in his 60s. He's at retirement age, and it's like he said to himself, "I've been working for I'm tired now. I want to stop working." This guy has been working, coming like 50 years.
Yeah. It's actually, yeah.
From when he was, if you think about from Nige, from Nige, from like 50 years. 50 years of working. So you need to enjoy that run up to before you start. But when you start working, earning money, and you're making money, you're in the machine, and it just never stops. It goes on and on and on and on. So for me, it's like, enjoy being young, like enjoy that freedom of not necessarily having to worry about paying the bills, the freedom of not having to have standing orders and direct debits, and the freedom of not having the responsibility of looking after a child, or enjoy while you can, because once you are now an adult and those responsibilities on you, life is different. Yes, there are certain...
Including adding children to that mix.
Yes, there are certain freedoms that you can enjoy being older in regards to driving and going away and not having to ask for permission and all that type of stuff. Yes, that's amazing. But the reality is that we've got to start... I want you to enjoy being young. I think that's really, really important. And that's just one thing I think people should take away.
Yeah.
So the second one was, you're not defined by your current position in life. How would you tell your younger self, especially going through what you went through in life, how would you have told your younger self, like, explain to them that, like, don't worry, like, it's going to get better. You're not defined by where you are right now. Because I'm sure there were, like knowing your story, I'm sure there were some dark times where you just, like, you're separated from your family at some point, so you're living with other people because, you lost your house that you're staying in. Like, there's some really dark times, you know what I mean? Like, imagine, like, I couldn't imagine like not living with my immediate family,
Yeah.
like us being separated in different places. Do you know what I mean? Talk to that. Like what like when you're in that situation, like, do you feel like you could tell your younger self, don't worry, it's gonna get better?
In that situation, I probably wouldn't have said it's going to get better. I would have just said, just take one step at a time. It's not permanent.
Yeah.
This isn't the end of your life.
Yeah.
It's just a moment in time.
Come on.
So it's more of just put one step in front of each other. Literally, like, that's looking back at it now. You're gonna make me start going back to places I don't even want to go back. But I would have just told myself, yes, it's not great.
Yeah.
But you sleep, you wake up, you thank God that you're awake, and one day is gone. And even till now, another thing I've learned from you, I think you always say that if you learn one thing from today, tomorrow will be better. And that's something that stuck with me. I probably didn't see it as learning back then, but as an adult, you kind of realize that certain habits you taught yourself just to get through the time, or just one day at a time, 1 hour. Even if you can't break a day, break it into hours. 1 hour, you got through 1 hour. Do you know what I mean? And you sleep, you wake up, and that's literally what. If I look at my younger self, I'll tell them, you can't see the future because you don't know what the decisions are going to be. But all you can do is just take it one day at a time and do the best you can do at the point you are.
No, I love that, man. That's amazing, man. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, you're not defined by where you're at. Like, wherever you're at, like, especially when you're young, like, wherever you're at, that's just a moment in time. Like, a lot of the time, those cards weren't dealt by you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
When you're a child.
When you're young, a lot of the things that you go through, these are repercussions of decisions that your parents might have made. Do you know what I mean? Whether they decided to break up, whether they've come over and they haven't got like, these are things that they've decided that's not in your control.
Yep.
Like when I was growing up in the hood and I'm living in like when man had cockroaches and it was painful, Mimi. Like it was painful, like to live in these environments. Do you know what I mean? When you're living on an estate and man are spitting all over the place, and then you slip in the spit and then your hand like goes into the next man's, and then you gotta try and go up the stairs and like. When you got rats and you got chicken bones on the stairs and carcasses and
Lord,
and the smell, like, and this is your home. You have to go through this to get to your house. Do you know what I mean? And when you just know that there's no money, like when people go on trips and like school trips, and you just know you're not going, like there's just no dough for that. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, when you go through certain things in life, like all your friends are wearing designer, and you're just wearing plain. Everything you go is plain. Like, even plain is better, because sometimes when your mum goes and thinks she's buying your brand, the brand is the wrong thing. Abby Bass, oh Lord.
Sometimes plain is unbranded is even better.
Buying you trainers with air bubble. You go to push the air bubble and it's hard. Why is that? What kind of bubble is that? That one is just rock plastic.
Oh Lord.
Like, do you know what I mean? And you go through these things and it's like, as a young person, like, you're just telling yourself, like, like, I can't, or any means necessary. All of a sudden, like, come on, like, people see me now, like, it's only by the grace of God that I didn't end up, like, my mum didn't let me out, so I couldn't really do like drugs and all of that type of stuff. It's only like, if I was allowed out to hang on the estate with the man, I would have done what the man were doing. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I wanted to change my situation. Do you see what I'm saying? Luckily, my mum didn't. I wasn't allowed out. Do you see what I'm saying? The fact is, I had to finish school. couldn't hang with my friends after school. I had to go pick up my sisters from school, come back. That goes to growing up early, because I'm the oldest child. I had to be like an adult.
Yeah.
I had to pick my sisters up from school. When I was in secondary school, I'm picking my sisters up from primary school, taking them home. I had to boil rice. There was stew and chicken, stew in the fridge, chicken in the freezer. I had to make sure that everyone
ate.
I had to iron clothes, wash. I had to listen. We were doing real houseboy them time. Do you know what I mean? And so, because of those responsibilities, I couldn't be out. And actually, that saved my life.
Yeah.
It saved me to be where I am today, where now I'm talking about living a life of abundance. But it took service. And sometimes we don't realize that to get to the life of abundance, it takes service. Like sometimes you have to serve. You have to be prepared to serve. You have to be prepared to be a mentee. You have to be able to take instruction. You have to be able to work and not worry about the pay, but understand the experience and the opportunity. And I'm not saying do that all the time, because yes, get paid your worth and your value.
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer. I'm a big fan of that. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes, in order for me to be the person I am today and be able to be in a place where now I see a life of abundance, I had to serve. I had to serve my parents. I had to serve at my church. I had to serve at school. I had to serve. Those that were older than me. I had to be able to do service and be able to help and add value to them. And now I add value to the country and get paid for it. Now, when people send me emails, can you just let us know your budget?
Eesh.
Nobody thinks they're talking.
Sweet emails.
No one thinks they're talking to me for free. Nobody. That day those times are gone. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, are you ready to serve? Are you ready to work? Are you ready to? Because if you really want to get to where that's what's going to be required. So understand that you can't. So a lot, and I don't want people to miss this. A lot of the time, the situations you are in when you are young were not the cards that you were dealt. So do not feel that your life is going to be judged or depends on the decisions of others. Enjoy being young, and once you're old enough to start making decisions for yourself, that's when your time starts.
Exactly.
That's when you start to take control of your life. That's when you start making the decisions, and that's when you can choose what you want for your life, okay? So don't feel that your life is defined by things that were not even in your control.
Yep.
All right. So that's 2. So let's go to the third one. Save at least 50% of your income. Let's talk, because
I think saving is really important. I feel
for young people.
For young people. So when I started my cake business and started making money, obviously when I first started, it wasn't great money, but it was still money coming in my pocket. It was the first time I felt like, yep, this is my money. I could do what I want. I realized that you can't just spend it all. You have to put a portion behind. And obviously, when I started making money, my mum was like, my child, you're using my gas and electricity. You need to start contributing to paying the gas bill. So I had to start putting money towards that as well, which was fine because I was using the gas and electricity. But at the same time, I realized that it wasn't a chance for me to... and before I started making proper money, I was always frugal.
Yeah.
I was always really frugal, and yes, it was because of my upbringing. So everything I got, I had to make sure that I made it stretch as far as I could possibly take it. So I'd always shop in sale, for instance, and try and buy pieces that I could wear throughout the year as opposed to just a period of time, for instance. I would make sure that I found discount clothes or stuff like that just to make sure I could save money so that what I had went further than just 1 or 2 weeks. And then I realized at the same time to have what we call an emergency fund now, just so in case of anything happens, I had money to help me through certain situations. It's really important. You just don't blow your money on going out with your friends and drinking and all of that stuff, because there's going to time when, for instance, you might break your phone and you need to buy a phone, but you might need money for that, and at a certain age you don't have a credit card or something, or your parents might say, no, you broke it. So it's good to have stuff like that to as a cushion for what life deals you, basically.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think this one's just an easy one for me. Like, especially if you're at home, you're living at home, your costs are low, like, prepare yourself for your future. Like, there's going to come a time where you might have bills and so forth.
Yeah.
So get used to living on less than 100% of your money. That's something I've always tried to instill in people.
Yeah.
Don't live on 100% of your money, because, like, if you live that, you're setting yourself up to live paycheck to paycheck. Have money, get into saving, so that if you save when you're young, you can invest when you're older. You can start investing when you're older, whether that's in property, whether that's in a business, whether that's in stocks and shares, whatever it may be. Save when you're young so you can invest when you're older, because you're going to use the money that you save when you're young to invest. And remember, your costs are low. So especially when you start working, that's probably 90% of that is disposable income.
Yeah.
Like, your costs are so low. A lot of people, I ask people, what do you pay? My mobile phone. It's right.
No, see life.
You only pay your mobile phone, and then today you say you haven't got money.
Hey.
Sometimes start vomit your money. What are you doing?
Going to all these expensive
vomit
restaurants.
your money. Let me pat you on your back. Vomit that money back out. What are you doing? What are you done with the money? You only pay mobile phone. And you got no savings. Things are gonna change. This is why they book me for the one-to-ones. Trust me, I make sure they come correct with their money. Correct, because it's your money. You work for it. Don't give it to others. You work hard for that money to come to you. So don't just give it to others. Give at least 50% of your money to yourself when you're young. Now that's how I want you to see it. Say, look, I work for this money. I'm giving myself 50%. And then I can then use the other 50% to pay whatever I need to pay, do whatever enjoyment I can give that to ASOS or Marks and Spencer or whatever brand you want to give it to, or do whatever you want to do. But 50% of your money, give that to yourself, man, because you work for it. And trust me, your future self will thank you.
Yeah.
Your future self will say, wow, you've been able to accumulate this. Now let's go and invest that. Let's go buy some assets. Let's get into ownership.
Absolutely.
All right. So number 4, plan your life. No. That's number 5. Okay, let's do this one anyway. I've said it now. Plan your life. Number 4, plan your life. Have a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan. Talk about that.
I think it's good to set goals for yourself. Obviously life happens and things might change and you have to be adaptable and flexible to it. But I think you should set yourself goals. If you decide you don't want to go to uni, fine. Okay, cool. You don't want to go uni. What are you going to do? If you go to uni, what are you going to do after you graduate uni? Yeah. I think it's good to say by a certain point in time, I want to be working or earning. Even if you don't know what job, you can say, I want to be earning a certain amount of money. And then you can say, how do you want to achieve that? I think Emmanuel is really brilliant at helping people think about how they achieve certain things and how they achieve certain goals. And that's one thing I
like the word brilliant, by the way. God bless you. God bless you. Sorry, please carry on.
And sometimes when I listen, walking past, I hear him talking to his clients and I'm like, wow, you break that down so good. And it gets people thinking, geez, I could actually achieve this if I just take a big chunk and break it down into small, sizable, bite-sized pieces, and then everything seems more achievable as you look forward to your future. So I think even if you don't want to do a 10-year goal because you're scared, do a 1-year goal. Then 3 years, then 5 years, because you feel like you're young and you've got time. Yeah. Then when you hit 3 years, you look at your 5-year goal, am I on track for that or do I need to change it? And then that sets you up and it gives you a timeline of things to achieve.
Yeah, no, you know me, I'm a big believer. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You'll never hear me stop saying that. Listen, you need to have a plan for your life, like where you're going, what you're doing. Like Mimi said, it's a great point in regards to how much do you want to earn? You might not know the job, but how much do you want to earn? Because that can guide you. If you know, there's no point you saying, I want to earn 100K a year, but yet choose a job that you might really enjoy, but know the maximum salary in that industry is 45 or 50K. It doesn't make sense. Like you're going to achieve what you want and get the job you want, and then when you get the money, you're not going to be happy because you're saying, well, I'm earning half of what I really want to be earning. So it's really important that you focus in on, okay, what do I want to be earning? And also don't put all the pressure on just one job. So you might be able to get a job that you really like that gives you 50K, but then also, how do I then get the other 50K? Is that from investments? Is that into property? Is that into getting another job? Is that in how am I going to generate it? Remember, you don't have to necessarily get the income you want all from the one job.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes, again, when people are paying you the big bucks, they want your big time. Like, sometimes you'll get I see, man, I'm on 250K a year. Bruv, man are working 16 hours out of 24.
Eesh.
And remember, 16 hours and you still got hour to work, hour back. That's 18. So you're getting 6 hours sleep. 6 hours.
Where do you even find the time to eat?
They eat at work? They eat.
They eat breakfast,
takeaway.
lunch,
Everything
dinner.
is takeaway. Everything is takeaway. Everything is out. There's no time to cook. There's no time. They're like, do you understand? All you got is your weekend. But your weekend, you're tired, you're recovering. And also, in those types of industry, your weekend, you're planning for the week ahead. What meetings you've got prepared, you've got presentations to do. So it's one of those things where sometimes it's like, yes, you're making the money, but are you really getting the time? So have a plan for yourself. Know what do you want for your life. One of the big things I want you to do is not be reactive. We are taught to be reactive to life. We are taught to react to our alarm clock. Then you wake up, you get up, then you react to whatever the news is you see on the TV. You react to the notifications you get on your phone. You react to the emails that you receive. You get to work, you react to what your boss. Everything is a reaction. Before you know, then you react to your partner. You react to your kids. You react to your family members. You go through reacting. a year's gone by, you say, what did I actually
What
do
did I
that
do?
I wanted to achieve?
Yeah.
What did I wanted to do? I want you to start taking control of your life. Put in what you want to do. You see what I've done this year with my wife? We put in all our date nights. We put in where we want to go on holiday. We put in where we want to take the kids. We put it all into the diary. And every opportunity that comes has to work around those things.
Yeah.
I am at a point in my life where I am no longer giving up the things that I want to do, the things that I enjoy. I'm going to do those, and then everything else is going to work around it. Now, before you start and say, Eman, I want to be like you, go and do the 4 or 5 years of hustle first. Don't say you want to be like Eman. You want to, that's the life I want, yes. You can't have the output without the input. Okay?
Hey, that is the one. You cannot have the output without the input. Yes!
So it's so important that you now make sure that you have the input and you go and do the work in order to get the output. Don't look at what I'm doing now and say, I want that. Go and look at what I've done and say, okay, I need to do that if I want to get that.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important to have a plan, like plan for your life and be flexible. Things can change. You don't have to say, oh, because I plan to do it must happen now. Or like things can change. Opportunities can come all of a sudden. Like I always talk about my friends people that do like English or maths that are really good at it. And then they say, okay, I'm going to get a free holiday and free accommodation to go and teach people in other countries maths or English. And you just travel the world. As long as you're happy not to live in 5-star hotels and whatever, like you can just travel the world and see different cultures and whatever. I do that for 2-3 years. Those people come back. They have learned so much from different cultures. They are so employable. Because when they go into an interview, they know the people that they're talking to, they can share experiences. Oh yeah, I've worked here. I've worked in this country. I've been in this country. I learned this in this country. You're now able to have conversations with other people. You may have learned languages while you're there. It adds so much more value to you. So for me, have a plan for yourself. What are you going to do in your younger years that adds value to you that you're going to benefit in your older years? Remember, I learned how to be a financial advisor by the age of 22. I started when I was 21. I finished qualifying by the time I'm 22. I use what I learned at age 22 today is what pays and feeds my family. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That value that I added to myself. But the plan wasn't to be a financial advisor. The plan was to get out of the hood. And then I had to work out what's the best way for me to do that. Oh, my dad's an accountant. I see that. Okay, let me look at finance. Oh, I'm good at maths. Okay, let me look at finance. Then the opportunity came. I could have picked anything. I said, I want to be financial advisor. Boom. Now I utilize that. I give financial advice to the nation. Do you understand? I had a plan. I didn't have a specific, I'm going to do this job, I'm going to get this pay. All of that can be learned as we go. But I have a plan for myself. And that's what I want you guys to do. Have a plan for yourself. Because you deserve it. You deserve the life that you want to live. But if you don't have a plan, you're going to live the life that is given to you. And I want you to take the life that you want.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's deep.
Hey, listen, I do this. All right, so the 5th one. I think we disagree on this one. You said, don't be too quick to jump into relationships. I'm saying date a lot. But then you have very few relationships before we got married. And I had a little bit more.
Lies. But anyway.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah, a lot more.
So you explain why you feel like people shouldn't have too much, because it's all subjective. Nothing's right or wrong. It's all subjective to your situation. But you talk to me why you feel like people shouldn't get into relationships when they're young, or why you would tell yourself not, because you hardly got into any relationships anyway. But so this ain't really about you per se, but in general, why you feel that young people shouldn't be too quick to get into relationships.
I feel, number one, I feel like it's a maturity thing. I think if you don't know yourself as a person, when you get into a relationship and you're now dependent in a way on someone else to fulfill your needs, it becomes a bit of a dependency issue. So I feel like I'm not, obviously, again, there's an age constraint. I'm not, because nowadays people are getting into relationships from 16 and they're being with that person till 20. That's wild to me. At 16, you don't even know what GCSEs you're taking or A-levels that you once said that you're committing your life to someone. I feel like have a sense of self. Know who you are, what you're trying to achieve and what you do. And then if someone comes that fits into that, thing and they have their own drives and ambitions, then by all means go into it. But if you're just in a relationship because you think it's cool, or you think I just want to have a boyfriend, then, and you don't know what you want to do, you're kind of directionless, then I don't feel like that's a good thing. Yes, people date and meet, and when you're in high school, you go on your dates and whatnot, first love, cool. But to say you're going into a serious relationship, I would think that you should experience life first before you add that element to your life.
Okay, we agree then, because I'm for that. That's how I'm on. I feel like, yes, know yourself, but get to know yourself, but also get to know others. I meet a lot of, and this is why I say this, I meet a lot of women now who are very successful, especially black women, very successful. They're making good money, and obviously I give them I teach them how they can make the money work for them, how they can build wealth and so forth. And that's great. But when I speak to them, I feel like one of the big things, a thing that is for a lot of them is that they're single. And I think they struggle when it comes to dating and so forth. And I think when you're young, you are surrounded, especially if you go to like a mixed school. Then you go to college, which tends to be mixed. Then you might go to uni, again, mixed. These are environments where you can meet people and build connections with people. I'm not saying like forever, like in regards to like you must find your partner or your husband or wife at uni or whatever. But this is when your market is buoyant. You've got loads of potential people that you can speak to around. And you can also start to find out, as you start to learn yourself, find out what do you like in other people? What are the characteristics? You can build up that okay, this is what I'm looking for when I am ready to settle down, or when I am in a position where I feel like these are the types of people, this is the type of person I want to be with. And to me, you can only do that by being with people, because you only know yourself, right? So for me, it's really important not to necessarily, I don't want to say like just run around sleeping with people and so forth, because I still feel that that's not good energy anyway. And a lot of the time that can lead to a lot of scars, which you then end up taking to your relationship. So I'm not saying that, but it's good to meet people. It's good to date. I'm a guy that I like dates. I like dates. I like going out. I like sitting down. I like getting to know someone. I like speaking to them. I like to hear their interests and what makes them tick. Do you know what I mean? And then I start to gain what type of personality I like or what I'm looking for. And I think that was how I was able to identify you as a person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, because I had been through, I won't say been through because that sounded very wrong. I had a few partners and dated a few people, and what I felt was okay, I could see the errors in regards to why we weren't ready, or why it wasn't the right time, or why we didn't work. And I was able to see why me and you could work long time. And here we are today. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's good to experience people and be out there and get to know what you like. And also learn. Because sometimes, for example, you might be an introvert and that's fine. But you may have to learn how to at least make it so that somebody knows that they can approach you. Somebody know, and that's going to come over time. Like, you know, speaking to people and say, what made you come over here? Oh yeah, I saw you smiled at me. I liked your smile. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, or you just starting conversation like, what's that drink you're drinking? That looks interesting. And then and like, not saying you have to move to a man or whatever, but you can learn ways to spark conversation, and then from there you can see where it goes. Do you know what I mean? One of my friends, I was out with one of my friends yesterday, and she was saying that she's in her 30s now, and she's saying like she just turned 30, and she was saying that when she was in her 20s, that like especially like in her mid 20s, like 23, 24, 25, 26, she's like she was getting moved to all the time. Do you know what I mean? And like now she's in her 30s and she's like, it's dried up. Like, do you know what I mean? And she feels like maybe she didn't take advantage when she was. And again, it can be difficult. Everyone's got their own time. Do you know what I mean? But if it is something that's important to you, again, have a plan. If you know that you want to have a partner and that's something important to you, to me, I'm a numbers guy. So for me, it's a numbers game. Like, the more people you connect with, the more people you speak to, the more times you're in and around people, the more likely you are to meet someone that you can spend the rest of your life with. Do you know what I mean? But she was like, actually, I think it's luck. Like how, I guess I was lucky to bump into you that day when you was with your sister. Do you know what I mean? And now we're here. And she was saying, did your wife have to move to you? I was like, no, we met, we spoke, and I moved to her. Do you know what I mean? And she's like, exactly. So she's like, a lot of people are now telling her to be active or telling her to meet more people. But she's like, a lot of the people I know that are married today, they didn't have to move to their partner. A lot of women didn't have to move to their partner, and they didn't have to be active. And it happened.
It just happened.
Do you know what I mean? So there's two ways to play it. But for me, if you're not happy with your situation, you got to do something different.
To change it, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you know the saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you know that, okay, the way that I'm moving right now is not, I'm not seeing any, it's not bearing any fruit, then change your approach. Do you know what I mean? Try something different.
Absolutely. And I would just say, before I met Emmanuel, we went to church and we were at a women's conference, and our pastor, there was like, write a list of the things of the qualities you want in a man. And, you know, this is what you look for. And I still have my list. And I'm not going to lie, Emmanuel is like 95% on the list. Do you know what I mean?
Jeez.
So I think the list is actually in my wallet because I carry it around.
The 5% is the height, right? That's the 5%.
Oh, no, actually.
You wanted someone over 6 foot.
I didn't even put a height thing. I just said I wanted someone that was happy. I was like, I don't mind someone the same height as me. I just wanted them to be happy that I was wearing heels, because I was like, I'm not giving up my heels.
I'm actually taller than her, but with
yeah,
heels,
he is actually taller than me.
But with heels, she's taller than me, and I'm calm. Like, I don't understand what this
So I will say, those years of dating, those are your days to the days to refine what you're looking for. It's not your days, like Emmanuel says, to just go and have fun. It's to refine what you're looking for, so that when that person comes, you can spot them and identify them and say, yep, this is who I want, and I'm ready to work with this person as long as they want you to build a relationship.
Exactly.
That's why I'm saying, don't jump into relationships. Refine what you want. I knew what I wanted. So when he came around, I was like, yep, this is it. I'm not letting it go.
Yeah.
And we're here now.
We're here. So, yeah. And then the final bonus one is faith. I feel like, for me, if I didn't have faith, if I didn't believe in a higher power, a lot of the time, like, that wouldn't have got me through. But my faith was really built when I was young. Like, being in church, being part of, you know, youth groups, being involved in church, really gave me the faith and foundation, like going to Sunday school, learning the Bible scriptures, you know, really that what I learned faith-wise as a young person, when things got hard as an older person, it's those things that really helped me say, okay, I can come back. Okay, I can go again. Okay, I can, if Jesus is for me, who can be against me? You know, like these types of things that you just can tell yourself, like, okay, cool, I'm more than a conqueror, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Like, there's so many like things that you can just tell yourself when things get hard that, okay, cool, I can overcome it. And I learned that when I was young. And I'm not saying you have to be Christian, whatever it is, but I feel like definitely have faith, believe in something above yourself, and believe in something other than yourself, so that you can really achieve, when things get tough and you start to doubt, you can believe that, there's someone that goes before you.
No, absolutely. I mean, when we were growing up, we kind of grew up multi-faith because my parents had different faiths. So I would say for me, because of that, there was a bit of confusion. It's only when I got older and I learned, lean towards the Christian faith, that I really found my true faith in God. Like I said, doesn't matter what faith you have, just have someone that you can look up to. Because I know God has spoken to me, and I'm sure Emmanuel will attest to the same thing. And he's told me when things, I'm here with you and I'm working with you, and I know and I felt and I know he's spoken to me on many occasions. And that's what sometimes keeps you going forward. Yeah. Like he said, when things are hard, you know that there is a voice telling you, be still and know that I am God and everything's going to be okay. So yeah, I think that's important. Definitely. Yeah, no, I love that, man. So yeah, man, that's us. A quick one today, But thank you, Mimi, for joining us. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being a wonderful co-host and a beautiful wife and a loving mother to our 4 wonderful children. God bless you. And you. Thank you for listening to the Eman Effect podcast. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hopefully you're enjoying it. And we will catch up soon. Blessings, people. Bye. Thank you.